people are already interested in digital twin, all that kind of stuff. You know how there can be too much of a good thing?
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm sort of worried about here is lack of exposure, that you end up just in the echo chamber, the own group that you like to be in anyway, and on Facebook you can see that already.
It's fantastic, yeah. I would say Facebook is a first-gen effect. So people are arguing about the negatives of spending too much time, and it becomes a rabbit hole, kind of like the Netflix binge watching. It's exactly that. It's a first-gen effect, and it is a filter bubble, and it does focus you too much on kind of exhibitionism and things like that. And you can't easily filter those things out and say dislike. None of that stuff's built in yet. So Eli Parishioner's The Filter Bubble is the best go-to book for that problem that I know. And Scott Page's The Difference is the best go-to book that I know for why cognitive diversity crushes people who are in filter bubbles. So the people who set up their group net so that they have those people who disagree with them, those people who think differently from them, those people are going to totally outperform on all the hard problems. So I have confidence that the data, the evidence will show us that setting up these echo chambers is bad for you. So I think it's an important problem.
Just because it's bad for you doesn't mean that the majority of people might not flock there. So
I agree. Do you remember when I talked about the lean forward and lean back people?
Yeah.
I'm going to say something controversial. I think that 80% of the people want to continue to lean back and want to get more qualified. But as long as 20% of us, the 20% who do 80% of the work, the 20% who feel 80% responsible, whoever those people are, okay, as long as those people are leaning forward, then everyone's going to cue off of them for opinions, and things continue to go forward. So I believe we're going for a bimodal future. More lean forward and more lean back. And we just have to make sure we're not leaning back worse than our parents.
Okay, second question is Barbara. Oh, it's not?
Oh, Linda?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Linda, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Question about the Kuznets curve.
Yes.
Income inequality.
Yes.
What you portrayed there seems to suggest that it will eventually right itself.
It has many times. That curve I showed you is showing you writing itself in the previous era of industrialization in the 20th century, from the Industrial Revolution to the 20th century. And then we start these new Kuznets curves as these new phases. Carlota Perez's book on this is an excellent book. It's on cycles. Carlota Perez. It's technological innovations and cycles or something.
And does that mean we shouldn't try and address it? Or
Oh, no, I think we should. Absolutely. We should recognize it for what it is, though. And say, okay, in 1914, we invented progressive income tax. We invented it. You make more money, we take more money. The peak of that was Eisenhower in 1950. 90% of marginal income, if you weren't putting it back into a corporation, went to who? After $3 million a year.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome, really redistributed. And then they've been dismantling that ever since. It's just a goodness. It's just a cycle. We're going to say at some point, hey, that's too much. You've taken too much wealth. It's time to put some of these things back in, and we'll develop these new methods for. The wealth is there. That's the important point. The wealth is just exploding.
How about third question?
Last question. Yes.
Go ahead.
Given that Google has already become Skynet, literally,
Okay.
can we really trust them to become the Ministry of Truth as well?
No, I totally agree with you. That's why I would go to the Brin's concept. Remember Brin's concept that 20% of the camera, 20 times as many of the cameras, 95% of the cameras need to be in your hands, and then you'll vote for more transparency. That's the way these digital twins have got to work. 95% of the AIs that we're using have got to be us using them, choosing them from a federation of competing companies, proprietary and open source. And then we'll let Prism and Sky Google, whatever you want to call it, we'll let those guys be, 5% of the people, okay? And more than 5% of the wealth, but it's 5% of the people, 5% of the minds. And we'll be okay with that. Because the diversity will just continue to blow up if that model continues. So that's the Evo-Devo model. In your own body, only 5% of your genes do this funneling and top-down, telling your body what to do. The other 95%, this so-called developmental genetic toolkit, all the rest of your genes, they shuffle around and create different variety in a tree-like exploratory way. So I think this Evo-Devo model, this kind of most of the future, most of the world, most change, I think is bottom up. And when we think about humanity and how to create more of what we care about, I think we want to empower those bottom up things as fast as we can. Thank you.